So syphilis, you had it, yeah?
It's terrible. I can't. I'm
No,
thirsty all the
Rube,
time.
how are you? Good to see you. That's exactly where I'm going to start. I'm going to edit it from that point there.
Okay, beautiful. What's the crack, guys? How you doing? I'm
Doing
great.
well. How are you doing?
Let's see your muscles. Let's see them.
I am stronger than I've ever been. I
Say
feel
so,
so
man.
fit. Yeah, I am like my. I know I'm like I'm not gonna, just for the sake of decency, I'm not gonna strip the t-shirt off now. But like, wee, rip as a bull.
Show us your six pack.
Go on.
Come on,
Show
show
us
us your six
Go on.
pack.
Put the facts.
No.
That's what I tuned in to see.
Go
Go on.
on, go on. We'll put
No, I
this on our
save
own
it for
track.
the subscribe to the OnlyFans.
So how is the body? Are you used to the regiment now?
Yeah, gosh. Well, will I go through it from the beginning? Okay. Um, there were 24 hours of available training in a week. Okay, 2 hours in the morning and afternoon, 6 days a week. My first week, I did 24 hours, and I was miserable. Like, like I came to the. Everyone was telling me, oh, the first week is always so hard. But like, we were training so hard, I couldn't eat. I couldn't. They served us dinner, breakfast and dinner after the training sessions, and I was like just too knackered to eat. I had no appetite. And then I got through the first week, and the second week, everything got easier. I could skip. I learned how to skip, so I wasn't hacking the end of my toes off with the skipping rope all the time. I'm pretty good at skipping now. And like the skipping was the bit that I dreaded the most, because I had to go in and like hurt me toes and my calves. Oh, my calves were in bits. But then week two, it was like my calves are fine now. And this is actually the most meditative part of the whole thing. There was a bit where I could stand, where I could look out into this beautiful patch of jungle. So I was always going over to my little secret spot where I could look at the jungle while I skipped, and I just zone out, just thinking, just mushing, empty mind. 15 minutes of skipping,
Can't
and
think
then
of Mushin. I just put it out.
what did you say?
I said you can't think of Mushin.
Yeah. I said I had an empty mind.
You said I went over to my little place and thought of Mushin.
Listen, Sensei, I forgot more about Mushin.
You finish the sentence without me grabbing you across the virtual world and pulling you here and slapping you.
I realized I couldn't finish the sentence without it being a paradox as well, because how can you? Anyway. So yeah, skipping, beautiful. And the second week I started getting really into it, but I also noticed in the second week I was the only Egypt doing 24 hours a week. Even the fighters weren't doing that. Like the people who were fighting every 3 or 4 weeks, they weren't doing that. So I missed two sessions. Exactly, man. I missed two sessions in the second week, so 20 hours of training. Third week I was injured, both knees gone. So I missed 5 sessions. So I just took 2.5 days off. Both knees just.
They went all Northern Ireland on you.
Yeah, exactly. And then yeah, third week, fourth week, fifth week, I'd miss like 2 or 3 sessions here and there. But I was training an awful lot. I didn't want to be missing more than that. It was just like I was also at first I was in a dorm as well. I was in a hostel, staying in a dorm, like a 10-bed dorm. And people were coming and going, and it was extremely hot, and I just wasn't sleeping well. So I went and I got myself a private room, a little bit more expensive, but not so expensive that it would provide air conditioning. So I was still really hot all night long and generally not sleeping too well. So now and again, if I woke up and I wasn't feeling it, I'd skip training in the morning. So I found a little bit of balance there. I still did nearly all the training. Yeah.
That's great.
So
what were your biggest takeaway? What did you learn?
Gosh, I don't know. Hikite is not that important.
You said it was.
No, oh yeah, no, this. Yeah. No, I mean this.
No, I'm saying this is important. This is very important.
Very important.
I don't
Oh, I
think
learned that.
anyone in my dojo, excuse me, has ever said Hikite is important.
I know, I was only messing.
Shut up. When you do this, shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Yeah.
I was only messing. Okay, what have I learned? I learned a lot in sparring, not just like about how to fight. I feel like I can fight better now than ever before.
We
Because
shall
we
see.
we did a lot of sparring, and oh, I dealt with so many different kinds of people. Did I tell you about this before? I don't think so. I don't think I went into detail. I dealt with
You
so
told me
many.
about
Okay, I was texting you, I think, yeah.
Oh, just some
Dealt with
private chats, is it? Private chats. Oh, right. Yeah, just exclude me from your little inner circle of two.
Let's not get into all the group chats that I'm not part of.
I'm not part of them either.
Carry on,
Carry on, carry on.
So yeah, I learned so much in sparring, man. You learn how to deal with ego because it's a lot more, well, it's just like it's not karate. So people are there for different reasons. People are there because they have fantasies about themselves being a fighter and some kind of badass. So you're learning to deal with that. And then because you're actually getting hit quite a lot harder than in karate, your own emotions can sort of rise up inside you, and you need to learn to deal with that. And that was the easiest part. I mean, that was easier for me than learning to deal with cunts. Um, like dealing with the inner cunt was.
You can see it on our podcast.
Drop the C word on our PG-13 podcast.
Am I going to bother editing that out?
I'm sorry, I
Turn
meant
on.
it in the Irish way, just like a person. Anyway,
I don't think the meaning was in doubt. It was the use of it that was the problem. But carry on.
okay. Yeah, so dealing with your own emotions rising up inside you is something I learned. Dealing with other people when they get emotional. Um, I had to like one guy tried to kick the fuck out of me. He was 80 kilos, so it was quite unfair. And he was just a bollocks. He was only like 20 or 21 or something, but a huge guy, and just like he had a crap attitude. He used to skip the warm up and come waltzing in. All this swagger. I didn't like him at all. And yeah, he started going full
Was
force
he
on me.
French?
Yes, he was French. He started going full force on me, and at first I was shelling up and I was taking the shots, and I was dealing with it. But then he did this. It nearly drove me crazy. He put his guard down like this, and he just showed me his chin like that. Like, come on, give us what you got. And so he did that, and I just reacted to seeing an opening, so I went pam pam pam, and I threw a combo, and I just touched him with it, and then I realized what he was doing, and I was like, no man, no, I'm not going to do that. You have to defend. We have to do this properly. I'm not going to hit you as hard as I can because that's not what I'm here for. And he's like, oh, okay, sorry. And then we were sparring, and I was just evading because I knew he was going full force, so I'm ducking and like dodging out of the way and using my footwork. But then he managed to trap me, and he got me, and he swung like three punches and then grabbed me by the head and kneed me into the solar plexus as hard as he could. And he's like 6 foot tall. And I didn't lose my temper, but I lost my cool a little bit. And I said, man, I fucking told you the first time, and I pushed him away from me. And the trainers came over and they told him not to be such a naughty boy.
Excited. You think excited?
I got very excited. Yeah.
Yeah. Just have to grab his legs, take him down, and bite him on the inner thigh.
Shit, kick him in the front, man.
Yeah. It's the class.
If ever I wanted to sneakily piss into somebody's gear bag, it was him.
Yeah, piss on your gloves. This is crazy.
Cool.
So
But
dealing with would that be you say that one of the more challenging things is dealing with the egos of people who want to be professional fighters?
yeah, Yeah, definitely. And also dealing with people who are he was able to beat me up. He was kind of good at Muay Thai and he was twice my size. But also there are guys who are like still learning and who can't fight very well at all. And I'm just touching them all the time, because I have a bit more experience. So I see them start to move and I jab or I dance around and I give them a little shot in the belly or kick the leg and they get really frustrated and they really want to be able to do something. So you see that like it's nearly like you see the eyes watering up and then they start, they start like trundling forward like trying to get you. And then you just have to, like, you can't deal with somebody like that because the fact that they're less experienced makes them also quite dangerous. They're awkward. So yeah, you just have to then forget, like, okay, I wanted to spar and I wanted to do what I can do, but now I just have to try and stay away from this guy.
Hmm. Cool. Thank you. So, destruction of the ego within yourself and ignoring others. What else did you get? Physically, did you think of anything that you think, oh, that could add to kind of fundamental training, basic karate training?
Yeah, yeah. Um, Mainly the kicks. I think my hips are moving differently for roundhouse kicks now than they did before. Also, the push kicks, I think they're extremely useful, and I think we should use them in Shotokan a lot more. They're also a lot easier. Like Maigeri, I find Maigeri so difficult because I don't something I'm working on, but I don't have a lot of hip flexion, and your knee needs to be above the target to hit Maigeri. I mean, it needs to be higher than the target to hit Maigeri properly because your leg isn't fully extended when you hit the target. So it's okay if I want to kick somebody in the groin, maybe, but whenever I'm trying to kick somebody a little higher than that, my foot is glancing up off the target like that. I've never been able to do it as well as I'd like. But push kicks, so useful. It's like a really nice extra long jab. You see somebody about to start attacking, you lift up your knee and you just push them away. And especially if they're already started committing to a move, let's say they're about to kick, they're standing on one leg, they go flying. It's so effective. It's beautiful. I'd like to use push kicks a lot more. I think it's a
I think
really,
that's
really useful
effective
technique.
in like the arena of like Thai boxing or kind of like dojo kumite, or do you think is it also useful in a more practical self-defense street fighting situation?
Both.
Yeah.
Although a lot of the time when you're protecting yourself on the street, they've gotten too close for a kick already. But
Mm.
if you do have them at the right distance, it's really useful as well because it's a push and they might land on their bottom, but it's relatively
Yeah.
safe.
Yeah.
You could wind them if you hit them in the solar plexus.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
And if you
Really
can do it
useful
fast enough,
warding off.
Mm. Yeah.
Get the fuck away from me.
Yeah. It's
yeah.
different tool in the whole sandwich box.
Yeah, sandwich box. So push kicks I think are great. I kick different than I used to. I I can kick a little bit. I can kick a little bit harder, higher as well. So because we kick so much here, I've just like my hips have gotten a little more flexible. My dead frog is a little deader. I'm a little bit closer to the ground than I used to be. And I'm stretching loads. I stay back and I stretch after every session. So I'm getting more flexible, which means my kicks are a little bit more powerful at a little more height. What else? Yeah, I really enjoy the smaller stance. You need that really small stance if you're going to do a front leg push kick fast enough. It's a lot faster if you've got very little weight on your front leg. So I enjoy doing that, but and like transitioning between this small stance on the spot, ready to move your front leg, and then suddenly, springing out. Say if you need to spring out and then move quickly, you can just transition. It doesn't have to be one or the other. You can just change stances. Obviously, you have to do it quick enough so you don't eat a leg kick. Because as soon as I see somebody who's heavy on the front leg, I just start kicking their leg, and they don't have time to lift it up to check because they've too much weight on it.
Have you found that your footwork in sparring has morphed more into the Thai style, or do you still use that sort of karate-esque bladed kind of in and out at times, especially if someone's better at the Muay Thai than you are. Do
Yeah.
you ever revert back?
My first few sparring days, I just ate so many leg kicks because I was so heavy on the front leg. I just instinctively reverted to the karate stance. But I had to learn. I had to learn really quick that I can't stand like that. So I had to learn the Muay Thai stance. I got used to the Muay Thai stance. It took a while. But then, like I said, I started using that Muay Thai stance. And very quickly, if I wanted to move fast, I would just sort of like in a plyometric way, boom, spread the legs and then spring. So you're here, your feet are quite close together. A little hop, like as if you're doing a switch kick, a little hop, your back foot is behind you. You can push off and you can blitz, or you can push back and you can avoid attack. And that was my main way of dealing with Muay Thai sparrers for the whole most of my journey over the last few weeks, until I started reading about how Muay Thai is scored. And it's very different to other combat sports. It's not just points. They also score for like your well, aggression, basically, but also your kind of air in the ring. Are you controlling the fight? Are you in control of your emotions and controlling the ring and that kind of thing? So, but yeah, if you continually dance out of the way and hit with counters, you'll actually lose the fight because the other guy is initiating the fight more. Sometimes when fighters are really tired and they just don't want to go near each other, the referee will grab them and push them together. Also, I saw so many fights. We were going to fights every Saturday night, all of us in the gym. The town had its own weekly fight night, so yeah,
You
saw a
place
lot of
bets?
action. No, there was no betting at it because it was all foreigners. The place I'm at is really touristy, so yeah, everybody in attendance at the fight is foreigners. Although most of the people fighting are Thai, so it's it's a money making thing for them. So
Typically when you go to see the Thai fight in Thailand, they like the first couple rounds are quite handy enough. They're just kind of tipping away because there's betting going on at the sides, and then they go back to the corners, and the corners will tell them what the odds are, and they
yeah,
start pushing and pushing and pushing. Then it's like depending on how the odds are swinging is how hard they fight. Like
exactly.
they're
Yeah,
getting told what the line is in between rounds. Like,
in that way, it's so different to other combat sports like boxing. Another thing is when a Thai, because that kind of thing is really important for Thais, and it's for some of them it's a job. If they end up fighting a Falang foreigner, they often go down in the first couple of rounds because they don't want to get hurt because they have another fight in 2 days.
yeah.
So like this Falang comes out super aggressive, something to prove, starts trying to break their leg with kicks. They're like, oh no, I can't fight. I'm down. Referee, call it. I have to do this again on Thursday. Yeah. Yeah.
So is it set the scene? Is it a like a dark, steamy tent, people fighting, you've got beer, people shouting, yeah?
Yeah,
Like the
it
kind
was
of
a
like
lot like that.
the movies.
It
I
was
could
a
get
lot like that. It was very like parochial and quaint. It was like there was like a raffle in the middle of this. They were like, we need to put a new church on
for
the
a pet
clubhouse
goat.
badge and a new roof on the clubhouse.
What was the prize?
A pair of Muay Thai shorts.
Oh, okay.
But it was a temporary boxing ring. They start in the morning, they build the ring, they build like a bamboo frame over it, hang a big tarp over the bamboo, like circus tent thing, and it was all lashed together with jungle rope. And so yeah, so you could sit there, you wouldn't get wet, and there was like I'd say there was room for about 100 or 200 people to sit, and yeah, huge sound system with that really annoying Thai music playing.
So
And
yeah,
yeah,
it's like a
they were
leaky
selling
backpack.
beer. Yeah, leaky bag. There was a stall selling beer, and there was a stall selling barbecued bits of stuff. Yeah, and
Sounds very, very good.
the announcer thought he was Pat Short or something. He was like, I couldn't understand a word, but he'd be like watching the fighters, and he'd just be doing one liners and then laughing at himself. So he'd be like, something, something, something. Oh, hell. Amusing himself, commentating but amusing himself to no end.
You're still getting quite a lot of pad work with what the I forget the word you use for them, not sensei. What are they called?
Crew.
Crew.
Yeah.
And have you learned much from the pad work that they do?
Oh, loads, man, loads. Like, so there was this guy called Krupesh. Unfortunate name if you're in Scotland. Krupesh. Uh, but he was a bit of a holy man. He was about 5 foot nothing, skinny as a rake, but super strong. He could do the flag. You know the flag?
Oh yeah.
He could do the flag. So yeah. And he went around with he had bald head and he went around with a bandana around his head and a machete at all times because he was always doing a bit of gardening around the place. So he looked like a little pirate, covered in Thai tattoos, tigers, and magic spells written all over him. They were all like
Class.
that. Like they were all very, very colorful, interesting. Oh, he got in a fight with one of the other trainers one of the days. Like they were really annoyed with each other. They started fighting. But anyway, so Krupesh is a bit of a holy man, and he decided like I was his boy. And whenever it was pads, if any of the other instructors came up to me, he'd be like, "No, no, Lou, over here, Lou." And he's like, "Okay, Lou, okay, jab, pam, punch, pam." And then I don't know, like it was very hard to understand him. He had a very thick accent, but I think doing pads with Krupesh every day, I think I'm fluent in Thai now. He would just like shout out nonsense, but by the way he was holding the pads, I knew what to do, and we got so used to each other. We just like we had such a way of working with each other, and he would run me ragged on the pads. He'd start off. The 3 minute round would start, and I'd have to grab him around the neck and throw 30 knees into his. He had one of those big pads on around the belly. I had to throw 30 knees as hard as I could. And then the next week, we started off with 50 knees as hard as I could. And then I had to do the rest of the round absolutely dying. And then finish off with 20 kicks on each side. It was, yeah, like I said, I think my cardio was at an all-time high. So, yeah, Krupesh started like taking care of me, like making sure he got me on the pads. And then for the last week and a half, so like I said in our last podcast, the every session ended with a lot of conditioning, loads of abs, and loads of like hitting each other on the abs with the pad. So he kind of like there were people like the fighters or like the elite boys or something were always off doing something else. And one thing they were always doing was lying with their head off the edge of the ring, the boxing ring, and doing these neck exercises because they needed to be able to have a strong neck for clinching and rolling with the punches and whatever else. So he sent me off with them. He was like, "Oh, you've been here a while now or something. You're going to go and do this stuff instead." And they were doing that conditioning times 5. It was like way more sit-ups, loads of pull-ups as well, and doing the neck. And it was really difficult. Like the basically the abs intensified by, I know I just said by 5. Basically, it doubled. Um, and there was always somebody sitting by making sure we were doing everything we were supposed to be doing. And one day it was this old, well, he wasn't that old, I'd say he was 40 or something, but he was a toothless funny guy, he was a bit of a belly on him, all his teeth gone from fighting his whole life. And he was really funny. He was always messing, like when you're doing push-ups, he'd come and he'd kick you over. A lot of them did that. But anyway, he was there and he was watching us struggle with the sit-ups, and he was like, if you're tired, you can cry, but never give up.
If you're tired, you can walk.
So
Right. I never give up.
yeah.
I never give up. Savage.
There were some beautiful moments like that because the trainers all took it really seriously. The place was full of foreigners, so you might be like, "Oh, it's all touristic and stuff," but no, like there were real fighters training there. We were training 20 plus hours a week, and the trainers were real fighters, and they were passionate about it. And also, they were brothers; like they all loved each other, even if sometimes they fought one another. But you could tell they were all best friends. Yeah, it was really nice. Great atmosphere.
That's great.
That's great.
So was it the hardest thing you've ever done?
I'll tell you what. There's been things, so it's definitely the hardest thing I've ever done physically, but I did have the basis of my experience in the Hombu Dojo so I knew I could do it. Like uh, I knew I could handle it. I knew I could manage it. I knew I could push myself and I could improve and I could get stronger and fitter because I've done it before. When I was a younger man and I joined the Hombu Dojo at first, it was a little bit more difficult for emotional reasons. I had recently gone through some stuff in my personal life. No,
I made him. He was a broken man, and I put him back together and then sent him off to the world. Don't fucking blame me.
Oh, that's right. No, that's right. I was a broken man. So, and I had so much support, and so in the end it worked out. I had to learn. I had to learn to be open to accepting that support, and anyway, all of that. I was totally alone going through what I was going through in Thailand, but I was thinking of you guys, and even though you weren't there physically, I knew you'd be encouraging me, you'd be cheering me on.
For sure, man. We were there in the bottom. Wow. That's great. So what's the situation now? What's the plans?
I
So you've
I
gone there.
decided.
The camp's done.
Yeah, 5 weeks of training, and I just decided that's enough. Yeah, been there, done that now. I'd only originally planned on doing 4 weeks. I did 5 weeks. I'm glad it's over, but I haven't actually stopped training. I'm still doing drop-in sessions whenever I feel like it. So every couple of days or every 3 days, I go by and I join in. I'm still fit. I haven't obviously I'm still fit. You don't lose the cardio just because you miss a couple of sessions. So my level of fitness now is just being generally maintained. And because I know I don't have to be there.
It looks like you've got bigger around your trap. Is it traps?
Yeah, this has got
Yeah,
more here. It's got but more there.
Yeah.
yeah,
Or maybe just
yeah. I've
one
got more.
kind of t-shirts.
That's from the neck. No, it's from the neck stuff, and also just hundreds of push-ups.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, and yeah, and even like also only like the 1 week of pull-ups, but my lats are like twice the size as they were. Yeah, they were feeding us well as well. So, what was I going to say just there? Oh yeah, so I'm doing speed drop-in sections, and it's nice. It's just casual. I know I don't have to do it for 4 hours tomorrow. So like I used to be there in the afternoon, like, oh, 4 more hours tomorrow, 4 more hours the day after that, 4 more hours the day after that, and thinking like this sucks. um, but I made some friends as well. Oh, sorry, you asked me what I'm doing now. Okay. Yeah, so I'm just.
Yeah, you can tell about your friends.
Yeah, don't worry.
Well, there were a couple of
won't
Irish
feel
guys, and
jealous,
it was a couple of Irish guys, and it was such a relief because there were some other nationalities there that I would say don't know how to have the crack, but really no other nationality really knows how to have the crack except English, Irish, Scottish. Let's just say it like it is. Yeah.
I'm Irish now.
Sorry, Irish, Scottish.
Irish. Brexit means Brexit.
So I made a couple of friends, a couple of Irish lads, one from Cavan, Charlie, and Sligo Billy. Sligo Billy was very interesting. He's a kickboxer. He's a big kickboxing champ. So he's won the All Irelands a bunch of times, and he goes to the Europeans and the world and stuff. And he was very good, but he had obviously the kickboxing style is very different to Muay Thai. So he was focusing on learning Muay Thai style and just adapting it. And we'd have conversations about strategy, footwork, technique, and he was telling me about things he was going to take and leave from each style. And yeah, so the two of us exchanged a lot. Told him about karate and etc. So yeah, that was really nice.
That's good.
So right now, I am tipping around doing the odd drop-in class. I'm just enjoying myself. Pai is just like such a cool town, and the food is amazing everywhere you go. Like even a €1 plate of noodles is just so. Yeah, kicking back. I'm gonna go exploring soon. I'm gonna go to a monastery next week. What day is it? Friday. Gonna spend a few days in a monastery next week. Gonna visit Chiang Rai. Gonna go back to Chiang Mai, and I've got a flight like on the 20th of July. So I've got to Zurich, and then when I'm in Zurich, I'm gonna get a bus to Trieste, and I'm going to go training with Paolo Sensei.
Ooh, Ooh,
Well, you better maintain your fitness to that then.
You'll be like, Palace, go on, test my Cubitas now.
That's my Cupid.
I'm not ready. I'm not ready.
Oh, one other thing. Remember I told you I
go
went...
like this.
Remember I told you I started doing conditioning with the big boys?
Yeah.
Another part of that is you stand with your back up against a steel pole, one of the steel poles that hold the roof up, and they just start kicking you in the belly, just like the trainers. The trainers start giving you there, and they have this amazing technique where it's obviously it's still a roundhouse kick, but they start going forwards. At the end of the kick, they're rotating, and then they also just fall into the target. So it ends up hitting at like it's coming around, and then they fall in. So it goes in at like a 45-degree angle, and they hit you with the long part of their shin. But all their weight is just boom, hitting you right in the belly. Great.
That never worked. That never worked.
It works.
I think I need more evidence.
Yeah.
I'll show you when I'm home.
Show me.
Okay.
Come on.
So yeah, that's me for now. Just enjoying life for a while. I'm going to get my tubes. I'm going to go down the park sometime and do some karate training.
You got any kata over in Thailand? Did you during your
No.
warm up routine? Did you not crack out a wee fucking karate or something? Show the lads.
I
The
didn't.
other side of it. The other side of the coin.
I didn't have the courage to do any karate, any kata when I was over there. None at all. No, man. I was just trying to survive. I did shuto somebody, Ross. I took your advice. I did give somebody a shuto. Yeah. And because they had the gloves on, it came out as a bit more of a hammer fist, but
That's even more deadly.
You reckon? You reckon?
oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't stop doing this.
Try
I can't stop doing this now everywhere I go because the Thais are all like kopong krap.
What did they say? Sorry, what was that? Sorry. So what was
Thank
that
you.
little kind of almost racist thing you said? Putting on a
It was
very
a beautiful
accent?
pronunciation. Kopong krap.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll do that. I think that's cultural appropriation using that accent.
I'm just trying to respect their traditions. Just trying to be a good boy.
So Trieste next, and then you're done. Your year adventure is done.
Yeah.
Are you looking forward to being back in Ireland?
I miss home so much. I'm done, especially after all that training and the turmoil of it. I just I'm looking forward to coming home, having a nice soft life, get a puppy, settle down. Nice, easy karate training.
3 pint of Guinness.
Oh,
and a wee cuddle from Sarah. That's all you need.
Yeah, exactly.
I wonder if we can make him cry remotely. You just come
No.
closer to the camera so we can.
No, fuck off. Not in front. No, I'm just gonna sit my tea here.
Cool. It's great.
Yeah, that's the story.
What an adventure.
So
yeah, man.
Anything
something
else to
I've
share
gone through.
before we kind of cut you off?
If you're tired, you can cry, but never give up. There you go. That's it. That's my wisdom.
Cool.
Love it.
All right.
Love it. Proud of you, man. Getting through that because it sounded
Thanks, man.
horrendous. Well done.
Yeah.
Well
You
done.
should have done something tough like this when you were young.
Yeah. I grew up in Ayr. You know what that's like?
I'm older than Ross.
Is it? So we've insulted the French and everyone who lives in Ayr.
Yes.
We want to insult anyone else before we finish this podcast? Or the English?
English as well. And get up the Germans because Scotland and Germany today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is this soccer?
Do you know the Germans have the Scottish training grounds, the Scotland training grounds are beside a mountain called Wank. Isn't that just
No way, really? Wait, you mean in
called
Germany?
Wank?
I
Yeah,
climbed that mountain.
Wank. Mount Wank.
I climbed the Wank. Yeah, in 2018. I've been there. I know the very mountain.
There you go. That
There's
was
a
just
there's a
like just the
restaurant.
main games started already.
There's a restaurant. There's a restaurant at the top of that mountain called the Wank House. Haus. Wank.
You know what the specialty is? The cream and guy.
No.
It's a simple thing, isn't it? It's simple thing.
This podcast has gone downhill fast.
Okay, well, I guess on that lovely note, we should arrange to talk to you when you're in Trieste and Paolo, since he's telling you the truth, the true truth
Us.
of all things Boudon. Not boo, not martial, but martial art.
Oh, yes, harmony.
Yeah. Should we do that?
Okay.
Okay, well, great to see you, mate. Take it easy.
Nice talking to you guys.
Enjoy the last few weeks of sun in Thailand and talk
Thanks,
soon.
guys. All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Oh.